Hello, I'm Joolz Sparkes, and I'm going to read from Fearsome Females and also from a couple of other books. I'm really proud to be part of this wonderful collection, which tells the story of women that quite a lot of their stories have been left out of history. I've written about female pharaohs who ruled ancient Egypt, and they ruled as kings. We do know this as evidence to prove this, but a lot of that evidence has been deliberately destroyed by the next pharaoh, who was a male that came along, deliberately destroyed it. And also during their reigns, the female pharaohs depicted themselves in carvings and tombs as having masculine features and with like a fake false beard, which was how kings were represented in temples. I knew I wanted to write about Hatshepsut because I went to Egypt many years ago and I saw her temple, and she's got a feminine face and then she has this beard on and masculine body. So I'm going to read about Hatshepsut, and so there's also a couple of other female pharaohs that I've written about as well, called Sobek Neferu and Nitocris. Hatshepsut, queen to king, checkmate, circa 1478 BC. I, Pharaoh, queen as king. Yes, a sister before me did the same, but I, Hatshepsut, have more staying powers. My reign begins, continues, ends in prosperity. Let them cast me as masculine carving, portray me with false beard, ram's horns. My two tunes prove me queen as king. My cartouche proves me king taken by queen. So king am I, the kingest of all the queens made king. 21 years of rule, a husband and a lover under me. No pawn on a game of senate. I take his piece as mine. Bow down to the power move of the dynasty. And then a second poem for Hatshepsut, trying to chisel her name off the cartouche. In 15th century BC Karnak, the man chips away at her prosperity. Hat, chip, shep, chip, soot. The name that oversaw its colossal plans and building, 21 years of wealth. They want to picture her as fallback, co-regent, and also ran. Nothing but mere half-sister, wife, queen. But the symbols in stone pronounce her king. One step up from queen, but still her, still she. Performing religious rituals only reserved for kings. Her throne name, true one of the Ka of Ra. That snake, Tutmos III, in a fit of pique demands her erasure. Cut that bitch's name from her temple. By hook or by crook, crush her story into dust. Oh man, the 21st century student exclaims at this clumsy slash and burn, for here she remains, cartouche on white limestone in Princeton University, on a column in the Met, on a bead sold online, on a jar filled with resin, the sun disk, the goddess Ma'at holding an ankh and a pair of raised hands. Raise her up, history. She's the act of survival. Her kingdom won't budge under chiseler's attack. Her name stains rock, papyrus, Wikipedia with gold. And then a little poem for Sobek Neferu. She was the first queen that we know of to rule Egypt as a king. This is the 12th century, 12th dynasty, circa 800 BC. Anonymous lower body parts. If only tits could talk, but a headless statue later, and all we have is male clothes clinging to the curves of female breast and hip. The website states she occasionally used male titles in records. Occasionally a king? Take off the crown as a womanly change of mind? How like the men, setting her vital statistics in stone, but what of her mind, her leadership qualities, reduced to a bust? And then one for Nitocris. She was the third woman to rule as king of Egypt, possibly. This is the end of the 6th dynasty, and this is written in the form of a tweet. FML, hashtag third woman to rule as king of Egypt. Things we know. I lived, I was a woman, I ruled as pharaoh. Everything else is guesswork, but feel free to fill in the gaps. All the others do. You can buy this book from Agnes Meadows, who was instrumental in its making. It was her idea and she curated it. She brought us all together. Or you can buy it direct from each poet. We're not actually fearsome at all, so we're very approachable. Please do come to us independently. Next, I'm going to read from Face the Strain, which is my pamphlet, which came out a year ago, I think it is. I actually can't remember. It's really recent, but it's like in the pandemic years, and they've all merged in together. So I think it's 21 or 22. I'm really proud to be part of Against the Grain stable of poets, because they publish wonderful poets, wonderful books. So do look at their website and send your work to them too. So turn and face the strange changes. It's a lyric from a David Bowie song. Well, at least I thought it was. And then I Googled it, and I discovered actually, no, it's a contend. People actually can't agree on it. It's either turn and face the strain or turn and face the strange, which I thought actually fits the themes of the pamphlet, which is how, as human beings, we can't seem to get on with each other, although we've got all this potential and we're sentient. We know they've got this potential for good, and we can look after each other, we can look after the world, we can look after the greater good. And yet, time and time again, we stuff it up and we put these stupid laws on each other that limit our potential. Warning, this game does not come with any rules. Not available in pink or blue. This toy is the color of imagination. Every piece comes as a complete mystery. No two boxes are ever the same. For ages naught to eternity. Fits together in infinite combinations. Never replace the lid. Keep away from no one. All participants begin on the same level. But do they begin on the same level? When you're a boy, you try it on with that new notch in your windpipe, a Bowie high, Lou Gravel, Iggy Howl. You flirt with the drama of silk scarf, bare chest down to the navel, silver catsuit. You get offered out by bruisers as they nosy your denim groin, sniffing for shades of lipstick, pissing on gold eyeshadow. You pull out with hands down trousers, winking at an eternity of feather boa glitter sex, ego and cockfest. You get drunk with space flight. Cowboys orbit your satellite of love in back streets, up against walls in bedrooms. You're full of it. And all the girls scream, ah, oh, ah, uh-oh. Woman in transit. Keep your hand on your halfpenny, your mind set to red alert. Get eye strain from guessing shark, from fish, keeping safe from dark shape. Bargaining with the journey. If I get there intact, then I'll relax, promise. Journey laughs in her face. Ha, girl, you know there'll be no sit back, no let up. There's only ever vigilance. Objection overruled. To pass the male law that governed every part of her body, the clause was proposed by Mr. the right-hand men from the male MP for mankind and gathered the support of male representatives, Mr., Mr. and Mr., who proposed its introduction into the House of Male Representatives via a male clerk where Mr., Mr. and Mr. debated and voted on the viability of her body. Then referred the clause to the male Senate and male President and the Queen, a one-off, and my male Prime Minister who passed the law within minutes of the latest girl being born. But for every law, there's a lawbreaker, and this is written as a concrete poem. No title. Mrs. / Miss / Ms. No. Married / single. No. Troublemaker. Tick. And then last one from here. And the P. We're told it's every young girl's dream to be trapped in a tower, waiting to be rescued, where the end arrives by pumpkin carriage. And she's forever the shorter one of the pair because neck arch is so much more Disney. But what's the protocol for warding off spells from angry laptop keys? And why is it decreed that her only chance of safe sleep is to balance bed springs with a tumble from grace? This new one won't shift weight to accommodate red down votes, twist all night on a stack of sweat-stained antiquity. She kicks off societal counterpanes, concedes a wicked desire to rally slumbering sisters. She has a dress with pockets and waves angry placard, #wage packet. She pours a second coffee, wakes to unrest. And then finally, I'm going to read from London Undercurrents, which is a lovely collection published by Holland Park Press. It's myself and poet Hilaire, a wonderful South London poet. And we've both lived in our areas of London. I'm in North London, she's South London, for many, many years. And we came up and conceived the idea to research women in our local areas and write about them because we realized that they're not really represented in history books. And so this is a small attempt to right that wrong. I live close to Arsenal Football Stadium, and when I moved in here, I just assumed that the women played in the stadium because I knew very little about football. And to research, to write the poem I'm going to read to you, I realised that actually, no, they have their own grounds, Meadow Park, Boreham Wood. And but while I've been living here, they do play in the big stadium, and actually women's football is now on telly and is actually a big deal. And so some progress has been made, which is a really brilliant thing, but obviously there's a long way to go in lots of areas of women's lives. This poem is written from the point of view of a little girl living close to the stadium in North London in the 1990s. And it's called Permitted to Play because the women were permitted to play on occasion in the big stadium. Permitted to play Arsenal Football Stadium, home end 1991. Dad, when I grow up, I will be first division, midfield, score the winning goal. On this turf, Arsenal Stadium, Gillespie Road. Teacher says I'm better than the boys. Dad, I can beat them on this pitch with you and Mum eating hot dogs in the red seats, waving scarves. On telly, they only show the men's. Dad, when can I play for Arsenal? When? That's London Undercurrents, Face the Strain, Fearsome Females, support independent presses and artists and poets, and write poems yourself. And thank you so much, Dodo Poets. It's been an absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Take care, everybody.